Alright, so let's fire up the Xcode and create a new project. So as soon as you create a new project, you're going to notice that Apple has added a new template under iOS category. It's called Augmented Reality App, and that's what we're going to use excuse me, to create our ARKit app. So we can select that, and we're going to name this my first ARKit. And we're going to select SceneKit as a content technology. Like I mentioned, we have other options available like SpriteKit or Metal. SceneKit is Apple's 3D modeling environment and basically used for 3D gaming and stuff. And because we are dealing with a real world, we want to place 3D objects in our augmented world. So that's what we are going to be using SceneKit. So let's select that and click Next. We're going to basically save it at a location and hit Create. Now before we jump and start running the code, I want to actually show you what Apple has provided to us by default. And first thing we're going to look at is art.scene asset. So if you look at inside this folder, you're going to find that they have provided a default model. It's a model of a plane, basically that you can move around, and there is a texture provided that wraps around that plane. And if you look at the location and the position of the model, you're going to notice that it's situated 0 meters on the x-axis, so right on the x-axis, negative 0.1 meters on the y, so slightly below the axis, the center. So basically, the axis is right at the center of your camera view. So this plane is slightly below negative 0.1 meters below that y-axis, and at a distance. So z is the distance, basically how further away or how close it is to the axis, and it's situated at negative 0.8 meters at the z-axis. Alright, so next thing, let's take a look at main storyboard, and you're going to notice that it just contains one view, and that is called AR scene view, which is an augmented reality SceneKit view. So all the objects, 3D objects that we're going to actually add, we're going to add within this view, and that's why there's an outlet provided to this. That goes back to the view controller. So let's hop into the view controller and see. So right off the bat, you're going to notice that there are 3 import statements. One is for UIKit, and there's SceneKit and ARKit. And this view controller conforms to AR Scene View Delegate. Now, AR Scene View Delegate is actually responsible for managing all the objects that you're going to add, and our view controller needs to conform to that because we're going to take the responsibility to add our objects within this 3D world. So we're going to make our scene view, the scene view that we have actually created outlet for, delegate to ourselves. And this particular line is just to show at the bottom like the frames per second and the timing information. And next we create a scene. Basically, when we create a scene, we add that ship object into the scene and assign that that scene into the scene views scene. If you take a look at view will appear. What we are basically doing is we are setting the session that is gonna AR session that is gonna get created. Basically, we're gonna creating a configuration for that. And what AR world tracking configuration means is basically all the tracking information that goes around. Basically, when you go up close to the object, it zooms in, and when you go out, further away, it looks smaller. All that information and all the sensory data, from accelerometer or gyroscope, is being controlled within this class. So we're going to use AR world tracking configuration, and we're going to run that. We're going to run our session with that configuration. We will appear. It's going to pause that session, and these are some delegate methods that you can actually use to do stuff within the session. Alright, so now what we can do is we can select our physical device, and let's build and run this app and see this in action.
Okay, so here we are running our demo, and we can see the plane hovering, and we can see from the top or from the bottom, and we can see the detail. And this is what ARKit is. So I guess this wraps up our first project, and see you guys in the next video.